This is one of the cattle cars that were used to transport people during the Holocaust. Before we continue, I'm going to warn you that some of these stories are rather horrific, and this is not for entertainment purposes, this is for education only, and to bring light to what happened during the Holocaust. Now, there's a story that has stayed with me ever since I heard it. It has not been able to leave my mind because it is truly horrific. This here is an excerpt from a journal entry, the Diary of E.K. Edgar, the author, wrote this journal under extreme danger. Edgar was a prisoner in the Dachau concentration camp from November 1940 all the way up to 1945 when it was liberated by the Americans. 2 years after his internment here, he decided to journal what he was witnessing and the horrors that he was experiencing on a daily basis. One of his first journal entries is from November 20th, 1945, and I quote, "These pages that I now begin to write would lead to certain death if ever they were found. But what is death? How few of those I know here are still alive today. How close to death we all stand. I can die here any moment, even if I take the greatest care." One of the stories that he wrote has been so impactful that whenever I think of the Holocaust, I remember this story. He wrote in his journal November 21st, 1945 about a train car like this that came in with about 500 prisoners. Now, this particular journey for these prisoners had been so long that when it arrived, 51 of them were already dead. He mentions that they had been traveling in these cars for 6 days, without stop, without water, without food, nothing. In their hunger delirium, they turned to cannibalism on those that had already deceased. Usually when these cars arrived, the guards would turn to mocking, but he says in this situation, even the guards couldn't mock. After their arrival, another 49 of these prisoners died. He writes of another instance when 300 more prisoners arrived, and they're described as living corpses. He even mentions on occasions that there was such hunger in this camp that people would be stealing potato peelings. He wrote about many other horrific experiences that you're welcome to read in this book here. It's kind of got an excerpt from his diary. One of the more moving pieces that he wrote when he's discussing about different children in the camp was he says, "Hearts must grow hard here, otherwise one would cry from morn till evening." Out of fear of being discovered, Edgar hid pieces of his diary around different places in the camp until in 1944 he finally buried them. When the Americans arrived, he took them to the location of his diary, and it's been a vital piece of information to understand how the evil in this camp operated.